Hello, everybody. My name is Ben, and welcome to One More Month, the podcast that will only last until I graduate college, which is in about 27 days, 4 weeks, basically a month. It was a month as of like 2 days ago. The point of this podcast has nothing to do with longevity. It has nothing to do with building something that is incredible and will live on for years. It's not even really about getting big, getting huge views and stuff like that. It's really about me having an outlet, I think, for this last month. I'm sure a lot of you have been in my position and you're graduating college, and it's terrifying. I am terrified of this next month, and I don't know what's about to happen. This next month, or the next one, or the next one, it's really terrifying. And I thought it would be really cool if I filmed this podcast and just recorded my life throughout these next 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks, and just kind of had something to look back at, I guess, when I leave. I had like a little period piece, a little passion project to push me through these final days, and something I can look back in 10, 20 years and really enjoy. Probably cringe at, but I'm going to try to enjoy it. So, hope you're all doing well. Welcome on this fine Monday morning. I'm going to assume I'm releasing this on Monday. I'm probably not. We'll see how I do. But yeah, a little bit about myself. If you don't know me, my name is Ben. I am a senior at the University of West Alabama, graduating with a bachelor's in integrated marketing communications, or IMC as we call it, with a specific, I guess you can say, track in graphic design. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I design stuff, I draw stuff, I take ideas, other people's ideas, and I make them look pretty. That's my whole job. Hopefully my entire job will just be fixing people's problems, but making it look good. That's kind of what graphic design is, if you're really going to break it down. As long as I can remember, I've had a background, I've had a history of just loving art. And not in a super traditional way. It's not like I'm a great painter. I'm not that good of an artist, if you want to look at it at a technical standpoint, with like drawing perspective and anatomy and color theory and value. I'm winging it, dog. Like, let's be honest. I don't know what I'm doing in anything I do, really. I'm kind of always winging it. I'm kind of always just on the edge of falling down a cliff, and I always save myself somehow, and I'm really lucky. I don't think someone with my outlook on life, or my outlook on, not life, more just how I approach things, should succeed as much as I do. I think I'm very lucky and blessed in that sense, that I've gotten this far, and that I'm able to create and succeed with the opportunities I've been given. And I think maybe that's a bit of imposter syndrome talking, because I feel it feels dumb to not acknowledge that I do have some talent, that I was blessed with this talent to maybe view things differently than other people, in a graphical or like visual sense, and I'm able to replicate that. Or at least I have an eye for it, I guess you could say. I have an eye for knowing what is good in the design world. And I don't know. There's that whole topic of, is it talent? Is it effort? Is it practice? And it's kind of a little bit of both. I think luck always can get you in the door, but you have to have the opportunity and have to have the talent to... Ooh, we're going to cut that. I hope we cut that. If I don't remember, sorry, excuse me. But yeah, I'm in graphic design, basically. It sounds like one of those most basic things. I think you hear a lot of people say they're graduating with graphic design, and it's like, oh, you probably like to draw or something. I don't know. I feel like being in that realm myself, I have a weird stigma against it, hearing that people are studying graphic design. But what does that mean for me is problem solving. It's like I said, is taking someone's problem and fixing it just with design, with a visually aesthetically pleasing solution. And here at IMC, we've been taught an incredible amount of stuff that has to do with how you can solve someone's problem that way. I think you have something like this, which is me solving my own problem of not being mentally healthy enough to go on these next like 4 weeks by myself without an outlet, I guess, to express myself and how I'm thinking, because let's be honest, I'm not doing too hot, if I'm being honest with y'all. And that is something I want to talk about. I think that's another reason I think it's kind of cool that I started this in November, is because November is Men's Mental Health Month. That is an awful sentence to say if you're like me and you have a speech impediment. Men's Mental Health Month. I hate that. But no, November is Men's Mental Health Month, and I am someone with interesting mental health, I guess. I don't know. I guess to explain what's going on and to give you a little bit about myself on the personal side of things, for the past 16, 17 months now, I've been in a relationship. I was going to say a long distance relationship, but it's not been completely long distance. It was like together for 6 months and then like apart for 6 months, long distance. It's a mess of a relationship in the sense of physically being together. In the sense of it being a relationship, wonderful. I'm in a wonderful relationship with a completely incredible girl. Incredibly beautiful, smart, just an amazing girl who happens to be French and lives halfway across the world, which is not a bad thing. I spent my summer in France and I loved it. It was incredible. One of the best things I've ever done in my life was travel and experience just another culture other than my own. But if you're going to ask how it is dating in college, when you're in a relationship with a girl who is not only halfway across the world, but also 7 hours ahead of you, it's tough. It's not easy. You struggle a lot with being lonely, especially being the one that is awake. Well, not awake, but she spends her mornings alone. I spend my night alone in the sense of we're not able to communicate because one of us is sleeping. And it is very easy to feel lonely, and it does not help. I hate saying this because I said it to her a few nights ago, and it came off kind of weird. 2 weeks ago, she came and visited me here at college for a week. It is the smallest amount of time that we have made a trip to see each other, or the smallest window that we were together since we've been together. So it was just a week, and then she had to go back. 11 days, actually, if I want to be meticulous about it. It was 11 wonderful days. It was incredible. It had felt like just pure paradise, despite the fact that I was sick during it. But it was just a small pocket of just everything was great. Everything was great. It was an incredible time in my life. And then it ended, which happens. That's life. I mean, if paradise was to last forever, it would eventually not be paradise because it would just be the normal. And then we'd want more. And that's just kind of the whole circle of life thing. And stuff is good, stuff is bad. That happens, you know. But I'm in the pocket of it being really bad. And we were already kind of struggling because I'd spent my summer there. I'd came back. It was about 3 months in between me leaving France and then her arriving here in Alabama to see me. And it was great. But then she left. And it has been awful, to say the least. Mentally, it has been really bad because you get so used, when you're that comfortable with somebody, you get so used to it being just great, to it being such like you don't, it's not like there's like a small little window every time we see each other that's a little weird, but you just get so used to it being like feeling this good. It's like taking a drug, I guess. You get addicted to it almost, and it's like you just fall into this system of going day to day, and it was a long enough, 11 days was long enough to at least build a little bit of habit of this is how my life is, and then it just gets taken and you're back to the life you were before, which was kind of sad, but you were kind of acclimated enough to it. But now I'm not. And not despite, but to add on to that, my entire life that I've had for the past 3-4 years is about to end within a month, as you can see right there. Oh, my computer went to sleep. Oh my gosh. Well, we're too late. You can. I'll edit sometime there. Let's say 27 days. Cool. That's. Oh man, I should have plugged in my laptop. That's awesome. Love that. Um, but yeah, there's a lot weighing on me mentally. Being alone, trying to be in a healthy relationship. Not saying that we're not, but like just to say that we are trying to be a good boyfriend when you have only a small pocket to be with each other, even just virtually, to talk to each other, and handling a busy life. It's a lot. Just totally worth it. All of it's totally worth it to be with this wonderful girl. But it's stressful. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort that you have to put in and be determined that this is what you want to do. And just that, being alone sucks. I'm a weird introvert, extroverted kind of person. I love being social. But lately, it sucks. It really does. I'm not doing great about it. I'm doing the best I can. I have a great group of friends who are sticking with me. But like, I don't get super emotional. I don't cry a lot. I'm really bad at crying, actually. I don't know where. Just lately, I've been really bad at crying. Bad at like physically doing it, not bad about it. It's hard for me to cry, especially in front of people. And that's just kind of I don't know. That's just the thing about me. But I don't get super emotional. I just shut down. And when I've had this last few months of school, where there's so much being thrown at me, I have so many side gigs going on, freelance, and trying to get. Why am I burping so much? That's crazy. But I have so many side projects. I'm trying to get a job, but a job that has to do with fill into these like weird parameters because my schedule for the next 6 months after graduation are weird. I'll talk about that later. Just all that being piled on to me, having to figure out what am I doing after graduation. I don't know anything about that yet. We'll talk about that later, like I said. But all of that being pushed onto a brain that wants to do nothing but lay down and just exist and scroll on TikTok. It sucks. It's hard. And I'm not trying to like throw a pity party for myself. I understand that there's a lot of people who have worse, like way worse circumstances and situations than I do. I'm blessed enough to be in a very healthy relationship and healthy environment, I guess. And I know there's a lot of people that don't have that. And I don't want to act like my problems are the worst thing in the world. I hate doing that. But I think I have to express. This is what this is for. Okay, this is my outlet. This is my window, my bucket to spew into, to express myself. And eventually, this will develop into something more. I think I want to talk to some of my friends, have them here. There's actually a whole other seat here if you can see it. I don't know if you can because I know I'm cropped in on myself. But like I got this whole set together and everything, and I want to have other people on to get their perspective on what's going on. Maybe some advice, maybe some just talk about my college life. But for right now, this episode at least is just me complaining. And I'm sorry. I hope that's not bad. I hope this is somewhat entertaining. I don't know what my target audience is for this show. I think my target audience is me, honestly. I think this is something for me. I'm not trying to become the next Joe Rogan. But I'm trying to get myself to talk about it, I guess. Because I'm scared to talk about it with other people. Oh my gosh. And I don't know why. I think it's more of the idea that I'll talk and express all this to someone and it'll just be like spitting stuff at a wall. And I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to a camera. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of stupid. But I'm going to enjoy it. So, yes. What's next, you're probably wondering? For me, I'm wondering that too. Because like I said, I'm a terrible, terribly organized person. I hate being organized. I hate following schedules. I hate making plans for myself, especially right now in my mental state of wanting to do the bare minimum, wanting to do nothing that requires any more than like 5% of my brain's effort. That is sucks, and it doesn't help that I'm already a terribly scheduled person. Like I just don't work well under like a really tough schedule. I don't work well under strict guidelines, and I really suck at making myself do something if I'm not motivated to do it. And that brings me to a very fun part of this episode, and probably what I'm going to use as clickbait for the title, is how I almost lost $500 this week because I was lazy. And let me be clear, I am lazy. I do nothing until I have to, and the deadline is met. This time, however, I had a project that I was working on with my university that was grant funded and was going to pay me for my work. And I knew about it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. However, my girlfriend came. I found out about this the day my girlfriend showed up, which was like the 20th of October. At the time, did not know when it was due. I just knew I had to do this work in this amount of time. I show up to class. Well, I guess I have to mention that I got sick with both the flu and strep within a week and a half span, which knocked me out of class for that whole week, basically, and I got really out of schedule. But I show up on Tuesday to class, and my professor's like, hey, you got that stuff done? It's due tomorrow, just heads up. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, yeah, no, I just melted inside because I knew I hadn't done any of it, and realistically, the work of it was not that hard. I just completely forgot. I didn't know when it was due, and to be honest, you know what I did Tuesday night? I went and played Ultimate Frisbee because I knew that I would do it on Wednesday, the day it was due. Surprisingly, I threw myself together. It was a photography project that was like, trying to explain this without giving too many details about it. But basically, I had to shoot all of these photos of people that would be input into this grant that I am working on. That is a campaign for the state of Alabama. And I hadn't done any of that. I hadn't scheduled any appointments. I think as of showing up Wednesday morning, I had one appointment scheduled. And I just winged it. I went around. I got like 90% of the stuff I needed to do done that day. And I'm like, well, I'm missing this 10%. What am I going to do? And I go to read the email to email my professor and say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm missing this, whatever. And I check it, and it says, you turn the work in on Friday. And I didn't read the email. I couldn't even take the time, the 30 seconds it would have taken to scroll down, read the bottom line of the email of the instructions of how to submit my work. And it said, work is all due noon Friday, which is today, the day I'm recording this. And I finished this morning. I showed up, did the final 10%, and thankfully I'm going to get paid. But I don't know what's wrong with me. I just completely was going to let that opportunity just throw it in the trash because I can't stay focused on it. Because I can't be bothered to do work that I don't have to do. And it's really stupid. I'm not a good student. It's not a good student. That being said, I have the grades to prove that I would be a good student. I have like GPA and high school stuff and like records and all my stuff. Like I don't make bad grades. I like cram for studying or do projects the night before, and I always make like high. Like I score in the top percentage all the time because I think I was engraved to do that by my mom, to always make A's and stuff in high school. And college is a little different because IMC is not exactly a program that you make A's in. It's just you do good work, and I do have a standard that I will always do work. It's just I have 2 weeks to do the work. Am I going to do the work? No, I'm going to play video games for 2 weeks and be social and do it the night before. And that's how it is. That's how my brain says. That's how I reward myself. I guess with the adrenaline rush of being like, oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. And I do it. I get it done. And I surprisingly have not failed yet. Is that going to be rewarding in my work life? Probably not. Am I going to get a kick to the face soon? Probably. I don't know. I don't think someone with my work habits should succeed at all. Don't know why I do. Thankful that I do. But this has been an episode of me dumping on myself, I think. And is that a bad thing? Is that entertaining? Probably entertaining if you don't like me. If you don't like me, this has been fun because you're like, yeah. Who's watching this that doesn't like me? Who's going to watch this far if they don't like me? That if you don't like me and you've watched this video this long, thanks. Cool. Thank you. But yeah, as for my future, I mentioned a little bit that I have a weird 6 months coming up because I plan to go spend the months of February through May, beginning of May, end of April, the beginning of May. I plan to spend 3 months out of the next 6 basically in France with my girlfriend, because she's still in school, so it's easier for me to come travel there. I basically have a job lined up right now. It's very lenient. It's a very lenient and free job that I'm able to do while I'm in France, with a company that I've been working for about almost 2 years now. And I don't know what the word I'm saying is. They're thankful enough? They're grateful? They're grateful enough? I'm grateful enough that they are allowing me to go and work over there, spend time with my girlfriend, but still do work and get paid for it. And I might be looking for other work. I don't know. Not really worried about finances right now. I'm kind of chilling. Because my expenses over the next few months are going to be like a flight. That's going to be it. I got to move out soon of my apartment. I got to pay like 1 more month of rent, 2 more months of rent. I don't know how rent works. Bro, I lived in an apartment for 2 years. I don't know how rent works. I've always had my roommate pay it, and I just pay him money. I don't know if I'm paying, when I pay my roommate tomorrow probably for rent of October, am I paying him? Like, am I paying my rent for the month? Like, am I paying him for October? Am I paying him for November? The water bills are separate. He does all that. Golly, dude, I'm in for a rough awakening when I get back to the States. Because when I get back in May, because my younger brother graduates high school, my younger sister graduates junior college. I plan to be back in May for them. But also that is a good period for me to kind of start my life as if I was graduating in the spring. It's almost like I'm taking a semester abroad, which I've already done, but like, so I plan to be back in May, and I plan to get an apartment, and I plan to maybe look for better work, or not better work, but more work, because I like money. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see if I'm good at it, and we'll see if I'm able to live alone. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to live alone, y'all. I am terrified of my future. I'm so scared. I am not excited for it. No, wait. What am I saying? I'm so excited for my future. I'm so excited to graduate and to be with my girlfriend and to live somewhat of a more routine life, because at this point in my senior level classes, they're fine. School's fine. I'm tired of school, I think, which is dumb, because it's like I am terrified of going to class, or not terrified. I am tired of going to class. But I'm terrified of socially being done with school, my university, I guess. I'm getting into a weird point where I think I'm contradicting myself, and I'm not sure what's going on. But it's a mess, you know? Like, I'm really excited to work, and I say that, like, I'm really excited to, I think, have money, and I'm excited to be with my girlfriend and to kind of like get my own apartment and kind of start a life that I will hopefully have that'll be consistent for the next few years. That's about where all the excitement ends, though, because I don't have any clue what I'm about to do. I've heard a lot of people say that when you graduate college, that's it. Socially, that's kind of it. Like, there's nothing that will even come close to comparing to the social life, or like the high you felt while being in college. I think a lot of people say that's over when you graduate, and I'm scared because I think that might be true. I'm hoping it won't be. I'm a pretty sociable guy, and I think that if someone's gonna keep a group of friends together, I'll try to, and still try to find a way to see the people, because I have been in my program for 4 years now, and almost all my friends within my program, for the most part, that I made, say, a year or two ago, have graduated. I'm lucky enough that my roommate still goes here, but he's a professor. He's not a student anymore. He's graduated like 2 years ago, and he's my roommate, and we're great friends, one of my best friends. But he's a professor, so I don't like. All of my friends I'm lucky enough that all my great friends have stayed close while I've been in school, so I've kind of been able to keep a sort of similar social circle. That is awful to say. Oh my gosh. Super similar social circle. Some of you don't know, I was born with a speech impediment, and I went to speech class. I don't know what it's actually called. Speech, not rehab. That's awful. Speech class. I called it speech class in grade school. But I went for like 5 years because I couldn't pronounce my like S's and Z's and TH's and all that junk. And I obviously mumble my words and speak very fast, and I'm hoping that I am speaking clearly on this episode. I tried my best, I think. But I think when I get a little emotional, I talk a little faster and a little less clearly. So we'll see how that goes in post. I may scrap this whole thing. Who knows? If I scrap this whole thing, Caleb, my roommate, and the guy who helped me set up all of this is going to kill me, I think, if I don't publish this episode. So you're probably seeing this no matter what. But yeah, I think that's the key takeaway, is that from what I just said before the speech impediment stuff, is that I am really scared of what's next. But I'm also super excited. I have no idea what I'm doing. I never have, I think. A lot of my professors want to ask me, what's your plan? What kind of, what do you think you're going to be doing? What kind of job do you want to do? I have no idea. I have no idea what I want to do. I just want to live. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my life while I can, and make money. Money's nice. I think everyone can agree that money's nice. But yeah, I have zero, like, what I told you guys about going to France and coming back and working and blah 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 blah. That's the best plan I have. And if you ask me to get more detailed, I will not, because I can't. Because I have no clue what's going on ever. I think that's the reason I wanted to make this show as well, is because maybe there's other people out there who hear this and that are also about to graduate and also are terrified. And I want you to know that you're not alone. I mean, really, I think everyone's going through this right now, and I think everyone who has graduated college has gone through this. And maybe some of you can give me some advice, because I don't. Yeah. So I'm not giving advice. I'm kind of just being like, hey, I'm feeling your pain as well. And I am. And I do have hope and faith that everything will be all right. I try to be very optimistic in all of this, because like I said, something that is unknown is equally scary as it is exciting. And the exciting thing is what you need to focus on, because there is no power I have to know what will happen next. All I can do is have faith that it will turn out all right, and just hope for the best and be excited. Right? Like, why not? I'm powerless either way. Oh, everyone is. Everyone's powerless either way. But you can choose whether to be scared or to be excited about it. And I'm trying to be my best to be excited. I think I am. But I'm also scared, So I don't think I'm ready. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know if I'm ready to do all this stuff and to like be on my own and to like business. I'm not business minded. I'm not like organized in the way I think at all. The fact that this is happening is a miracle, I think. Thank you to Caleb. If you're listening to this, I know you're going to be listening to this, because you have a podcasting class, Shout out to Caleb. He has a podcasting class at the university that I go to school at. The University of West Alabama. I'm not being secretive. I've already mentioned that. But he helped me set all this up. He's probably going to tear me a new one about how this is bad or how I'm getting off topic or how I didn't really say anything. These are all insecurities in my head right now. Or that I'm moving this too much. I don't know if you can hear every time I move this. But thank you to Caleb for helping me set all this up, dude. You're amazing. You're great. Thank you very much. And you're going to help me next week. My plan for the next few weeks also is going to be to have more people on here. Like I said, I don't know who. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm just hopeful that we have another episode of this. And if there's anything else I'm going to say, it's to me. It's to myself, who will watch this back in a few years, hopefully. And we'll look at myself and just kind of wonder, like, not wonder, but more just like look at this version of me. You're looking at me. Hey, me. Hi. This is just between us. And thanks. I hope we make it good. I have faith in us. I hope you still have the same faith as us. I hope everything's going well. And I hope we're doing great stuff. I really do. I can't wait to see what we're doing. And we still got it. We still got it. We know we're the best. We still got it. But thank you all for listening to this episode of One More Month. I will see you next week, hopefully. I don't know where all this is going. So if you want to like or subscribe, if it's on YouTube, feel free to. Stay tuned for the next episode. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Music, does Amazon have? I don't know how many platforms. Thank you for listening or watching. I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, bye.